Hi, this is Lad Dilgar with the Stand and Speak show coming at you September 10th, 2025. And as most of you already know, Charlie Kirk from Turning Point USA, a conservative thought leader and as responsible for Donald Trump's victory last year as anyone other than Donald Trump, was assassinated today at a rally in Utah. And I believe the FBI has this suspect in custody. We've seen some videos on the roof of what looks to be a guy running. The New York Times has reported that the shot came from 200 yards away. None of this has been verified. There was a guy in a blue outfit, an old guy who was admitting to the crime, and he had to be dragged away. And it turned out that was everyone thought that was the shooting suspect, and it was all over X. And that turned out to be not the shooter. So that was very odd. So this is a horrific day in American history, and we'll have a couple thoughts here as to why. So I was working on another video on something completely unrelated when the news came across that Kirk had been shot, and I stopped what I was doing immediately and tracked the information all the way through the afternoon to see what details were available. I was praying with most of you that he would survive, although the injury from the video looked horrific. I'm sure you can go find it somewhere if you haven't already seen it. But this goes to show you that the left can't win a debate. They can't compete on facts. And so just like they did with Trump by trying to assassinate, bankrupt him, keep him off the ballot, and put him in jail, they couldn't compete with Charlie Kirk on the facts and out debate him, so they had to kill him. We don't know who this degenerate is that shot him, but I want to tell everybody, I think this is very consistent with everything else on X, that his movement is not going anywhere. If the commies think that his movement isn't going to move forward, they're sadly mistaken, because I'm seeing all kinds of information online that people want to start 1,000 Turning Point chapters. Our local high school wants to start one. This will not end. And my take on this is that this is the first shot in what is going to be some kind of a civil war going forward in the next year. I don't know how that manifests itself, but I think it should start with a massive mobilization of legal resources and the FBI to ferret out any communist, any blue-haired boomer who makes the slightest threat to a conservative leader, and put them in jail for a long time. Put their organizations under the ground. This is not going to stand. Famous conservatives, Steve Scalise, Donald Trump, Rand Paul, Clay Travis, they get death threats, they get assaulted, they get shot, they get attacked. Enough is enough. And we need to treat the Democratic Party and the communists and the leftists and the transgender activists and the BLM people like we treated Islamic terrorists 20 years ago. Either you're with them, or you're with us, or you're on the side of the terrorists. And make no mistake, this was a terrorist attack. Now we're going to see what the governor of Utah has to say about this.
This is a dark day for our state. It's a tragic day for our nation. And I want to be very clear that this is a political assassination. We are celebrating 250 years of the founding of this great nation. That founding document, the Declaration of Independence, that this great experiment on which we embarked together 250 years ago, that we are endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights. The first one of those is life. And today, a life was taken. Charlie Kirk was first and foremost a husband and a dad to two young children. He was also very much politically involved, and that's why he was here on campus. Charlie believed in the power of free speech and debate to shape ideas and to persuade people. Historically, our university campuses in this nation and here in the state of Utah have been the place where truth and ideas are formulated and debated. And that's what he does. He comes on college campuses and he debates. That is foundational to the formation of our country, to our most basic constitutional rights. And when someone takes the life of a person because of their ideas or their ideals, then that very constitutional foundation is threatened. Now, we have a person of interest in custody. The investigation is ongoing. But I want to make it crystal clear right now, to whoever did this, we will find you. We will try you. And we will hold you accountable to the furthest extent of the law. And I just want to remind people that we still have the death penalty here in the state of Utah.
So the FBI is involved. Federal death penalty is in play, I'm sure. Pam Bondi and Kash Patel, I think, will aggressively pursue the death penalty. And obviously Spencer Cox has that in mind as well. He says everything very well. So this is an act of violence against a political movement of ideas that this young man, 31 years old, with two adorable little kids and a beautiful wife, he started this from scratch with energy, determination, tenacity. He's not some rich billionaire's kid who just spent a lot of money and just, built a cable empire or something like that. This kid built this from scratch. We had the pleasure of attending a meeting with him a few weeks ago. It was a fundraiser for our county Republican Party. And he spoke and he filled up the room with energy and optimism and a very clear and excellent message. There was no hatred. There was no racism. There was no movement to attack or be mean to anybody. He just believes in God and he believed in freedom and the United States of America and its founding documents. And for speaking the truth, and he was one of the best truth tellers out there. And to go to colleges and universities like he did and take on very indoctrinated and clueless young people. And many times he would get them to think differently about something. Other times they were impossible to get through to. But I don't recall anybody ever doing that before. And again, he was rewarded by a lunatic, someone coming out and not being able to bait him on ideas, but to kill him instead. So this video has been going around a lot about someone running on a rooftop that is pretty far away from the stage. Him, who's right in there. Right there. I think that is who they're referring to. Right after the shots are fired. I am sure that as soon as this happened, there was a massive mobilization of law enforcement and they caught this guy very quickly. So the left, being the degenerates that they are, many people have came out and commented on Charlie Kirk, and said they're glad he's dead and all this stuff. Here's one class act Democrat right here.
Fucking stoked right now. You want to know why I'm so fucking stoked? Go ahead and Google Charlie Kirk. Go ahead, read the latest headlines, and you'll see why I'm so fucking you fucking stoked right now.
So, how do you spell mental illness? I think it looks just like that right there. Unbelievable. Here's a couple more. If you just go to the Libs of TikTok X account, Nate says Charlie Kirk should be shot. Sabrina Herrick, running for the school board, is mocking Charlie's assassination. Michael Hudson, a licensed social worker, Veterans Health, appears to celebrate Kirk's assassination. What does he say here? Karma doing what karma does, right there. And just one more. Shelley Harmon, a nurse at Mercy Hospital, made a post celebrating Charlie's death and wants to start a GoFundMe for the shooter. So, and she's got her COVID vaccine. So, you know, she's a really great person, and she's got the mask and everything. So it's time to call the left what they are, which is degenerate, unhinged idiots who are bereft of ideas, who have lost elections because they're so freaking off their rocker to celebrate a guy's death like this, a leader on the other side. Do you think for one instance, if a leader on the Democrat side, even the weirdos they have in charge now, got shot, would there be a lot of Republicans, you know, celebrating it? I don't think so. I don't think that would happen at all. But that's what Democrats do. That's who they are. Democrats in Congress showed their class by yelling no and being loud when Speaker Mike Johnson tried to have a moment of silence to honor Charlie Kirk. Let's have a look.
Let's wait a minute. Wait a minute. The House will be in order. 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 We will join prayer right after this, okay?
So that's all I have for today. It's a rough day in America. The whole country should be worried and concerned, and the people on the left should be ashamed of themselves for their behavior and supporting and enabling, obviously, this political assassination. But for Charlie Kirk, you did amazing work in your 31 years on Earth, more than anybody does and most people do in 10 lifetimes. He got accomplished in 31 years. And he's been an example for a lot of people, millions of followers, millions more who are ready to take up his torch and move on. So, Charlie, this is for you. Cheers. Rest in peace, brother.